Starting today, the U.S. will require people applying to immigrate to the country to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. We'll take a look at vaccine access around the world and what obstacles people might face with this new policy.
Plus, the U.S. Postal Service is making some changes. What that could mean for your holiday shipping.
And later on, break it down why so many athletes take the entrepreneurship route after their time on the field.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Carolina Hassett.
And I'm Lauren Quinlan. Thank you for joining us.
Starting today, new immigrants applying to become lawful permanent residents and other applicants must have their COVID-19 vaccine, and they must provide documentation to prove it before taking their next steps. Cronkite News reporter Peyton Muse explains what the policy is and what it means.
An immigration attorney I spoke to says the new requirement is results of the U.S. Supreme Court upholding public safety standards. Now, immigrants who are applying for permanent residency must comply with the laws. Once an immigrant applies for their status adjustment, residency, or green card, they are subject to medical examination. The COVID vaccine is added to the already existing medical examination that requires vaccines like measles, mumps, polio, and hepatitis. Reina Montoya is the founder and CEO of Aliento, an immigrant activist organization. She says it's important to educate those directly affected by the change.
There's the people who are outside of the U.S. that might be applying for a green card that might have these barriers about depending their access of vaccinations. I know here in the U.S. we're very privileged compared to other countries that they don't have enough vaccinations.
Besides the population that is outside of the U.S., she says there's a deeper issue. The population inside of the U.S. that could qualify for their green card could be affected by this as well.
That they're going to have to get the vaccine. So then now we tap into U.S. Domestic politics, and we know how the vaccine has been really polarized.
Immigration attorney Ruben Reyes says he believes that the majority of immigrants will comply.
There might be some very small minority who, for whatever reason, religious or otherwise, may decline the vaccine, but then at the same time, they're going to recognize there are consequences for that.
The requirement includes an exception for children who are too young to receive the vaccine and people with medical conditions that rule them out for the shot. It also outlines a waiver process for people who refuse to get the vaccine because of religion and other reasons. In the newsroom, Peyton Muse, Cronkite News.
Today, we begin a new segment that will bring you the latest facts and information about COVID-19. Cronkite News health reporter Camila Williams is here to explain.
Welcome to COVID Case by Case. Each week, I'll be talking with experts about some aspect of COVID-19 to help answer questions about boosters, vaccine passports, and more. Today, we're talking about the vaccine approval process. So with that being said, let's get started.
This past August, the Pfizer COVID vaccine became the first to win formal approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Until that point, the Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines had been permitted under an emergency use authorization. So the question we're answering today is, what is the difference between emergency FDA approval and official FDA approval? Dr. Octavio Martinez Jr. is here with the answer. He is a professor at the University of Texas and a member of President Joe Biden's COVID Health Equity Task Force.
Emergency approval of the vaccine, basically what it is that there was enough evidence that already existed that showed that it was beneficial, that the vaccine was going to work, that it had a high rate of effectiveness. And now that this has been finally approved by the FDA, by the United States Food and Drug Administration, it's saying this virus is meets all our criteria for being safe, ready to administer at all levels, And I think that we are seeing an uptick in vaccinations. And I think some folks are now more comfortable.
In May 2020, Operation Warp Speed began in order to fast-track development of the vaccine. 7 months later, both Pfizer and Moderna were approved for emergency use and vaccinations began. Moderna has also applied for official approval. Johnson & Johnson expects to seek FDA approval later this year. You can find more information about where to get the vaccine near you at cdc.gov/coronavirus. In the broadcast studio, Camila Williams, Cronkite News.
A new pill meant to cut the rate of deaths and hospitalizations from COVID-19 by at least 50%, and it could be available to millions if approved by the Food and Drug Administration. The pill received rave reviews by Dr. Anthony Fauci and the Biden administration. The U.S. government has agreed to buy 1.7 million doses of Merck's medication if approved by the FDA. Despite this news, the Biden administration has still made it clear that vaccination is key to controlling the pandemic.
You may have to wait a little longer for that letter or card. The U.S. Postal Service says people across the U.S. could start to experience slower mail deliveries today. The announcement comes after the U.S. Postal Service made changes to their service standards, which could lead to longer wait periods for mail. The Postal Service changed the current 3-day delivery standard for first-class mail to 5 days. A USPS spokeswoman says most first-class mail will be unaffected. However, there might be increased transit times for long-distance deliveries and expect higher prices when mailing holiday packages. The price hike starts Monday.
Monsoon season officially ended yesterday, but unlike years prior, this one will be one to remember. A look back on the eventful stormy season coming up.
And the Arizona State Fair opens its doors today for the first time in a year. The details on what the fair has to offer coming up.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. You know, I don't go anywhere without my passport. And now, thanks to PBS Passport, you can travel with me and watch all 10 seasons of Rick Steves Europe and all my travel specials. This exclusive streaming service is just for our members. Not only can you see all my shows, but you can see thousands of hours of your favorite public television shows. Become a member today and get your passport.
Today is the first day of October, meaning this year's monsoon season has officially come to an end. Evan Liss is at the Google touchscreen to tell us whether this was one for the record books.
The end of yesterday also brought an end to this year's monsoon season, and what a monsoon season this year has been. The last two summers were huge disappointments. We didn't even get an inch in 2019, and we just barely hit the mark in 2020. They were both bone dry and very hot. This was the status quo until monsoon 2021 came along and saved the day, with plenty of thunderstorms in the high terrain and many making their way into the lower deserts as well. When all was said and done, Sky Harbor picked up 4.2 inches of rain, nearly double our average. And we are just one day off the all-time record for rain days, which is 24 days. The state did see some storms last night, but there was no measurable rainfall at Phoenix Sky Harbor. So we're going to stay just one day shy of that record from 1896 when we started record keeping, actually. Now, all this rain did lead to some serious flooding problems in different parts of the state. These videos behind me made their rounds on social media. And honestly, you can't really even believe what's going on here. Just huge torrents of black water carrying all sorts of debris inside of them and a serious hazard to the houses and other livelihood there. Now, the general increased rain in Arizona also had some good impacts as well. This satellite picture from NASA shows a stark contrast in Arizona's vegetation from June to August, and it's absolutely unbelievable how you can see it from space as well. And all this extra rain and clouds also help to keep our temps down by just a little bit at least. We normally see an average of 111 days with temps in the triple digits. This year we saw 104, so just a little less, but luckily far below last year when the valley suffered through a record 145 days over 100 degrees. Absolutely brutal. Overall, though, definitely a monsoon season for the record books and one we won't forget anytime soon.
When it looked like nothing was going to happen, and I was kind of hopeful, and so I was looking forward to a nice season of maybe some precipitation, but this has been record-breaking in some parts of the state. So we're doing very, very well.
And to talk about a transition from monsoon into fall, we actually had our first measurable snowfall in the highest parts of the state yesterday. So Old Man Winter is on our way to the region, and going into the weekend, though, we won't be feeling the effects of that just yet with high pressure moving back in. That'll clear out our rain chances. We're just going to see some sky cover, but really, really sunny, hot weekend on tap for us. Looking at the highs for Saturday, we have 93 degrees in Phoenix, 96 degrees in Yuma, 66 up in Flagstaff, so a gorgeous weekend there. Looking into this evening, without much cloud cover out and about, we're going to be able to get all the heat that was brought in during the day out, 79 degrees by 10 p.m. So a pretty pleasant evening for this time of the year in Phoenix. As I said, high pressure moving back in, pushing our temperatures back up. 93 on Saturday, 96 on Sunday. Those are really the only hot days that we're going to have to suffer through with the sun beating down on us. But you can get out to the pool since it's the weekend, which is going to be a huge help, I think, for everyone to cope with those late summer, early fall hot days. On Tuesday, we already start to go back down to 80 degrees as another upper level disturbance moves through, and we're going to see some nice below average temperatures after that. For now, I'm Evan Liss in the Cronkite News Weather Center.
Get your stomachs ready because the Arizona State Fair is officially open for business. After being a drive-through only event last year, the State Fair is fully open from today until October 31st. The fair has been around since 1905, and today you can find rides, fried food, animals, and other daily events. Masks are encouraged to enjoy the fair, but not required. And don't forget, it's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. How one high school coach is helping his alma mater reach new heights on and off the field.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. You know, I don't go anywhere without my passport. And now, thanks to PBS Passport, you can travel with me and watch all 10 seasons of Rick Steves Europe and all my travel specials. This exclusive streaming service is just for our members. Not only can you see all my shows, but you can see thousands of hours of your favorite public television shows. Become a member today and get your passport.
Millions of people die every year from drinking dirty water. I would never have felt I had the ability to do something without ASU pushing me. We built filtration systems out of local materials with the people. To see those kids drink clean water for the first time, it's the most rewarding feeling that you can ever have. I went to ASU because I wanted to change the world. The thing I never would have expected is how the world would have changed me.
Welcome back. I'm Amna Sapan with your Cronkite Sports Report. The Mercury came up big last night. They evened up their semifinal series against Las Vegas in a dominant 117-91 victory. It was a record-breaking performance with the Mercury putting up 68 first-half points. The offensive surge was led by Diana Taurasi. In only her second game back from injury, she scored a playoff career-high 37 points on 10 of 13 shooting. Despite not practicing for over a month, Taurasi relies on her veteran experience to get the job done.
Obviously, you want to be practicing, you want to be in rhythm, but that's when you really got to lock in and kind of lean on your experiences that you've had in this league for a long time. And, these two have been unbelievable all year. Been hurt a lot, but they've always seemed to carry the load. And today was my turn a little bit, but.
The Red Mountain Lions will put their 4-0 record on the line tonight against Liberty. Their undefeated season so far has them eyeing a possible state title run. Cronkite News reporter Ashlyn Register profiles one of their coaches who might help them get there by staying loyal to his alma mater.
In his 4 seasons as defensive coordinator at Red Mountain High School, Kyle Enders has been a wealth of knowledge to his players.
He knows everything. He puts us in the position to make plays, and he's just always right. He's tough on us, and he loves us, but, he works us hard, and he just sets us up for success.
Enders' football IQ is homegrown. He was a student and football player for the Mountain Lions from 2003 to 2006 and left an impact on the program as a team captain and an all-state linebacker in his final year.
I mean, when I walk through these halls now, I just remember those game days. It was the best days. I mean, it was awesome.
Enders now wants his students to have that same experience. He considers himself not only a coach, but also a role model.
These kids go through a lot. I feel like high school is more challenging now. I think I can give them experience and let them know that it's not just about football and just being there for them, not just on a coach level, but, just as a mentor.
Enders is also a mentor in the classroom, having spent the last 6 years as a special education teacher. He brings the same energy to each and every student.
A friend, he's honestly just a really good mentor. He teaches you how to do everything the right way. He's just an all-around great guy.
It seems as if Coach Enders has done it all at Red Mountain High School, but there is one thing missing. Enders has never won a state championship as a player or a coach.
Like I said, a lot of pride. I want to win a state championship here really bad.
And Enders' enthusiasm may just help them get there.
Players love him. They respond to his intensity and his love for the game and his love for them.
In Mesa, Ashlyn Register, Cronkite News.
And here are some other big games on tap tonight. Hamilton and Chandler will both look to continue their undefeated seasons. Hamilton will travel to Perry, and Chandler will take on Pinnacle. Finally, 2 unbeaten teams, Queen Creek and Williams Field, will clash to keep their perfect seasons alive. That's all for your Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Caroline and Lauren.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.